Today is Sunday, 2nd April 2023. This is Today Africa. I'm Amik Hassan with another podcast today. But before I go further, I just want to thank the people who are subscribing, liking the video and comment. So I thank you all for that. And if it's your first time coming across this channel, you can please help us by promoting this channel by subscribing to the channel and like the video and share it across Africa, because on this channel we basically talk about Africa, things that are affecting Africa and policies that are affecting Africa. So I thank you all. And today is just a short video that I want to make, because I have a problem with the leaders of Africa. Because when we talk about leaders across Africa, we are not only talking about the president or ministers. No, we're not talking about only them, because Africa is the problem. The African leaders are the problems to Africa, because in Africa we are a whole continent. We claim to have everything life could need on earth, but yet still we cannot feed ourselves, we cannot take care of ourselves, and then we keep blaming the West. So I don't know why that is happening. So the AU itself, the African Union, it is the problem to Africa. So I just want to throw light a little bit on the recent bill the Supreme Court of Kenya passed to promote the right of LGBTQ in Kenya. You know, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know anything about law. But what I can defend in this situation is the values of Africa, the tradition, what makes us to become, or what makes us African, as an African. When you look at the Supreme Court of Kenya, this is my opinion again, and I know many other people could agree with me on this particular issue. The Supreme Court of Kenya is becoming a problem in Kenya, because when you look at Kenya today, it's going through a lot. You have protests right now, demonstrations right now going all across Kenya. Destruction is taking place, and that is not enough again. And the problem of these protests all in Kenya, this demonstration, the Supreme Court is responsible for that, because the election, because like I said again, this is my opinion, the elections in Kenya was rigged by the NEC, and second, the Supreme Court, because people expect much from the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court ended turning the elections in favor of the current president, which is William Ruto. So had the Supreme Court made a fair decision, there will be no fight today in Kenya or destruction, because you look at Kenya today, it is ungovernable. For now, it is ungovernable. Okay. The Supreme Court judges rigged the election, gave the result to William Ruto as a president. And today again, the same Supreme Court judges made a decision to legalize the rights of the LGBT community in Kenya and promoting the practice, and even maybe accepting NGOs around promoting the LGBT community. It's all about money. How much money those guys, those judges, has been given? How much money? I'm coming to some point because this is very important. This is a very important, it's a very dangerous problem, in Kenya, because I'm not a Kenyan, but I guess there is a law, I think in 2010, that forbid the existence of such practice in Kenya, the LGBT or gay right or homosexuality. And these Supreme Court judges, they ought to know better than all the citizens, the ordinary citizens in Kenya, because they know the law. But now they acted against the constitution. For how much money? What's the name of one of the judge? Because I think the head of the Matakume, because that woman looks corrupt. You are selling the values of Africa because of what? Money has been given to you guys. You don't know that it is in your constitution in Kenya that these practices are illegal in Kenya. Now you are breaking the law. So what if the ordinary citizen do the same thing? What are you going to do as a Supreme Court judge? Punish him or her? Because you started it right now. But my question is, that I want to ask is, where is the Attorney General? Because a judgment like this could not be made without the president knowing. That is a concern. Because the president should know whatever decision the Supreme Court is making. So in this case, my Kenyan people, don't trust the president, William Ruto. Because if you look at the recent interview when he was in Germany, if people are wise enough and look at that interview critically, you know that this guy is about to accept things, the values of the West. Because I don't think the Supreme Court of Kenya will make such decision or pass such bill without the consent of the Attorney General or the President. But now, the President has not even made any comment about such decision by the Supreme Court. So why is he quiet? Why is he quiet? So that is my question. Because if the President condemning this thing on camera interviews, but now the Supreme Court made, I don't know even which kind of decision that, you understand, to disrespect the values of Africa. And these same people, these Supreme Court judges, these are Africans. It's not like they're Europeans. So now you see the problem when I'm talking about the AU is corrupt and the leaders of Africa are corrupt. Now look at it. So now the Western people, European powers, or these with their Western values right now, you see the way how they are corrupt in Africa and now corrupt in Kenya. So now you have two set of people in Kenya. The other side is promoting the LGBT. The other side is rejecting the practice. So you see the conflict. There is demonstration going on right now, which is another problem, and added to this. So you see how the Supreme Court of Kenya is becoming a problem for Kenya, because the Supreme Court judges, I think, in my opinion, if I was an authority, they should be fired with immediate effect, because they know the Constitution. They should be an example to the Constitution. So this is how the Western powers are dividing Africa. Now, the most dangerous part of this right now, those NGOs, if those NGOs could be allowed in Kenya to promote this thing for even 6 months or even 1 year, trust me, the Kenyan people, the government, the parliament, you understand, could not fight this back. Because those NGOs are the problems. So, the people of Kenya should not trust the president. That's my question right now, because the president should know about such a decision made by the Supreme Court. He should know. But he's seated quietly right now, pretending he doesn't know anything that is going on. But he knew. So this is the problem when these EU leaders, Western powers, go to Africa trying to promote human rights groups. Those human rights groups, they are forming, empowering these human rights groups. These are the basis of the problems in Africa, because those groups are going to rise up at some point, because those human rights groups, empowerment groups, these people are developing, they pick specific people among them, give them a different education, and make them the leaders of those groups. And even in the process, within that process, those people they pick among, they will make sure that these people will attain certain positions in the government, so that the voices of these people could be heard. That is what these people are doing. So if you as a government, if you as a nation cannot see such problem, to foresee the problem coming, then I don't know why you're a government. Because as long as they are trying to promote this evil practice in Africa, it doesn't matter what it takes them. They will print millions of dollars to give to corrupt politicians like those judges in Kenya, the Supreme Court judges. Because these are the people they need in positions. Because these are the people making the law. These are the people interpreting the laws. So if these are the people interpreting the laws, you understand, these are the people, they knew the Constitution better than any other ordinary citizens in Kenya. But these are the people right now breaking the laws of Kenya. I think they should be held accountable, and they should be sacked with immediate effect, and in fact being punished, because that is a crime against the values of Africa. Because Western values are now becoming part of the values of Africa. It's becoming the values of part of Africa right now. So I am not trusting in the president. Let me give you just a quick example in Kenya. This guy you guys have in Kenya called Eric Omondi was driving a wheelbarrow. I don't know what he was pushing, calling for CV, asking for people to bring their CV, pushing. And few seconds, and then you see the police van drove just across him, and then pretending arresting him, and then he was thrown in the van. And after a few seconds, they were laughing in the police van.
What's happening with you, officers? Nini? Eriko, uko na nini? Toka bwana, chukua hii mtu. Wewe wacha. Nani, officers? Nifunge kwa hii. Wacha. Wacha.
So who is playing who? If people watch that video with Eric Omondi, so that tells you these are the dangerous and corrupt people in Kenya. You are fooling the innocent people. You pretended being arrested, and then the moment you were thrown into the van, and then you started laughing. You're making fun of the people. And then there was a guy who dragged the camera close to him, and then he told the police, hey, stop him. So you see? So you see the corruption? So even the people pretending, being straight, trying to fight for the other people, they are all in the same process. So you see the problem? So the people of Kenya should question the president, because the president should know about this particular thing, or the attorney general. I'm not a lawyer, I don't know anything, but it's just a common sense, because Supreme Court making such decision unbeknown to the president, and they know the president speaks against this particular act, and at the end of the day they actually made a decision to allow NGOs to promote the right of LGBT. I don't know. Africa, we have a long way to go. So when we are talking about reform in Africa, these are some of the things we need to reform in Africa. These are the things. Because those old people, those positions, they are the problem. Because they have a weak brain. They don't know anything. They just hold in those positions because it is being given to them for many years. And look at how many young men and women in Africa who are even lawyers, bankers, they don't even have jobs. They should be holding those positions, the young people in Africa, in Kenya at the same time. But those people are not giving the young generation an opportunity to rule or to show actually what they can do. So this is the problem of Africa. The AU is the problem. And my last point is, this one is going to Sierra Leone. Because today I can see the government of Sierra Leone is in collaboration, working toe to toe with the European Union, promoting human rights, women empowerment. Mr. President, those human rights groups, the EU is promoting, empowering in Sierra Leone, those are the people one day going to kick you out of office. Mark my word. Because they are setting right now the basis, the groundwork to promote LGBT in the name of human rights in Sierra Leone. That is why you have those groups building up insurgent groups. Make sure they have a very high position to an extent in the government so that their voices could be heard. So when they are ready to promote their human right, because very soon they will say in Sierra Leone, the LGBT, it's human right. That is when you know you are making a mistake, or you already made a mistake. So it is even a crime that Africa should see that as a crime for you to have local NGOs in any state in Africa. You have local NGOs, and these NGOs, their sponsors are from Western countries. First of all, you have to watch the activities of these NGOs, because when you see the activities of these NGOs and then you look at the sponsors, then you know exactly what is going on. But most of you governments in Africa, you don't watch at things like this. The only thing you see is the money, and as long as you see the money, you're not even seeing the danger of these things. Africa, we have values. Maintain our values, you the leaders. I don't have the power to control anybody in Africa. What I can do is speak just like the way I'm speaking right now. Because the media is what the Western powers have used to dominate all of us in Africa. Like CNN, BBC, all this media outlet. That is where they are very powerful. It is just recently most people in Africa are waking up to reality. So if we cannot wake up, the leaders, you cannot wake up to reality today, this LGBT community right will destroy Africa. It will destroy Africa all the way. Because these same people promoting LGBT right, allowing man to marry a man, woman to marry a woman, or even because these are European values, Western values, where you can even see a woman getting married to a dog. These same people wrote the Bible. These same people wrote the Bible, and then they gave it to you. And these same people today are contradicting themselves. What should you believe as an African? Before the Bible came, we have our customs, we have our tradition, we have values, we have ways, the way we communicate with God. They are traditional people. They know the ways how they communicate with God. But they came and gave you the Bible. They say, no, your own way of communicating with God, it's wrong. Use my way. But these same people with this Bible, today, they are contradicting the Bible. Because I don't see anywhere in the Bible where the Bible is talking about promoting the gay right or LGBT right, or a man should marry to a man or a woman should marry to a woman. I've not seen that yet in the Bible. But even the Pope allegedly said that is not a crime. Yeah, okay. It could not be a crime in Europe or America. But Africa, don't sell our values because of dollars. Because after this LGBT, if Africa accepts this value, there's something else going to come, and we can't refuse, because they know we accept dollars. So every African leader should follow the footstep of Museveni. Aid is nothing. If Africa ready to reform and correct all the mistakes the leaders have done, Africa could be a better place for us. Because these fight right now with the LGBT, all the reactions or the sanctions that are going to come for African countries is going to be, oh, we can't give you visas, we can't give you this, we can't give you that. That is the problem. Don't sell your values, leaders. So, my Kenyan people, question William Ruto. He's the president of Kenya. Listen to his interview, and then you conclude if he's innocent or not. And those judges should be held accountable. They should be sacked with immediate effect, because they know the constitution. They know what is right, they know what is wrong, and they have done the wrong thing against the constitution, against the will of the people of Kenya. The Supreme Court is a problem to Kenya today. So I end this video here. If you thought this video was useful, you can please promote this channel by subscribing to this video, share this video all across Africa, and like the video. It will help the channel grow. So I thank you. I'll see you on the next video.